Welcome to my channel, The Gutsy Nutritionist. Today we're talking hormones again. I wanted to talk about anxiety during perimenopause. So maybe you're going along in your 30s or maybe even in your 40s and you just feel like, you finally got this. You finally got life. You can finally do pretty much anything. You're strong, you're capable, you're knowledgeable. And then literally it feels like the next day, your world is crashing down. Your anxiety all of a sudden over things that should be no big deal that you've always handled super easily is now overwhelming. This is one of the signs most women notice first when they hit perimenopause, because we go from feeling confident and busy, whether you're a mom or a career woman or a housewife or whatever you are, you just feel like you've got this, and then all of a sudden you feel like you don't. And you're not sure why, because you're the same person you were yesterday, aren't you? Well, yes and no. Yes, you're still the same strong, healthy woman, but no, you're not exactly the same. So we're going to talk about that today, and whether or not this is something you can fix on your own. So anxiety and perimenopause has to do with the changing of the various hormones. They don't tend to change in any predictable manner, so that's the bad news. But the good news is that there are ways to learn to listen to your body and then take care of your body in a way that helps to balance out the roller coaster. So a lot of women, especially in the beginning of perimenopause, become what's called estrogen dominant, which means your estrogen is really, really high. But just because it's really, really high doesn't mean it's really high the entire few weeks of your cycle, right? It's not the same every single time. So that's the roller coaster, right? Well, what happens when you have high estrogen is we tend to start gaining weight, especially around the middle. That weight won't come off. It is rapid. Maybe before you never had a problem with weight, but now all of a sudden, like every few months, you've gained 5 pounds or more. Then the other thing happens. Then the estrogen falls on the other side of that roller coaster ride. And when estrogen falls, your serotonin level falls. Now, our serotonin is a neurotransmitter that has to do with balancing our emotions, stabilizing our mood. So that's why you go from having a fairly consistent life to having these huge ups and downs with your emotions. And that can really make you feel like you're losing your mind. And you aren't losing your mind. Your body and your brain has to adapt to a new level of hormones. And during this phase, it's adapting constantly because there's no balance happening. So when we have those low levels of serotonin, those low levels of estrogen, we really need to take in complex carbohydrates. So this can seem backwards sometimes, because when you're on the height of the estrogen and you're gaining that weight, maybe your first inclination is to limit carbs. Maybe you're on a low carb or a keto diet, thinking that that's going to help you with your weight, but then that actually might contribute to low mood and mood swings. So if you want to have healthier moods, you have to eat complex carbohydrates. So what are complex carbohydrates? Those are things like beans, lentils, whole grains, so whole grain oats, whole grain wheat, sweet potatoes, and plants in general are really good for helping to detoxify our system from excess hormones, especially excess estrogen. So we definitely want to increase our plants. These same complex carbohydrates are going to really help you with your cortisol hormone. Now, maybe that's a hormone you're familiar with. You've heard of it. It's the stress hormone. And yes, we do need a proper amount of that hormone for us to live. But what tends to happen is during perimenopause, when we respond to various situations and when our body's responding to really high and really low levels of certain hormones, it stresses our body out. Our body creates too much cortisol. So if you have too much cortisol, you're going to really benefit again from those complex carbohydrates. And along with those complex carbohydrates, you're going to need lean protein, vitamin C, vitamin B, which is going to be great for that mood as well, and magnesium. You can get these vitamins from sources like fruit, which are also, by the way, complex carbohydrates. Leafy greens, amazing. Of course, lean meat, nuts, flax seeds are great. So you're going to want to take in as much of this healthy food to help balance, to find those vitamins that you need. Certain B vitamins only come from animals. So if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you're probably going to need to supplement with a high quality B vitamin. I don't recommend just going and getting any B vitamin. It's really important that you have the highest quality bioavailable B12 and B6, because it makes a huge difference between what your body can absorb. And we tend during perimenopause, especially if you have any sort of gut issues, to not be able to absorb our B vitamins well. So if you need suggestion for which ones are a good brand to get, give me a message, comment below, and I will go ahead and share some with you. Otherwise, do your research, read your ingredients. All right, so when our cortisol stress level high, it also interferes with our body's ability to ovulate. And in perimenopause, that's actually going to be something you struggle with anyway, because your body is adjusting to these hormones. And so for your body to ovulate, you have to have just the right environment in your uterus, just the right amount of hormones. So if you don't have that, you're not going to ovulate. That's going to affect your progesterone. Your progesterone hormone might be low. And as you go through perimenopause, as you approach menopause, your progesterone is going to be lower than ever, and it's going to stay at that low level. Your body will adjust to it, but it takes a while. And so in the meantime, your body's relationship to sugar, insulin and blood sugar is going to change. That's going to affect moods. That's going to affect weight gain. And also, because progesterone affects our ability, it's one of the hormones that helps us to be able to feel calm and peaceful. When our progesterone is low, that suffers. Then our ability to find peace, it can almost seem impossible. Our ability to just relax and feel calm, it can be a super big struggle, which in itself is very stressful. So we really need to focus on routines that allow us to do breaks from stressful activities, that allow our body to have a chance to recoup, so that our progesterone can have a chance in our system, so that our cortisol doesn't just squash it out, so that our brain can still produce that GABA that it needs to find that calm, right? So that would include our workouts, because if we're working out trying to lose that weight, or if we're working out trying to deal with anxiety because we get those endorphins from working out, well, that's super good, except that you need to know when to work out in accord with your cycle, because certain parts of our cycle, they really thrive on that workout process. They really thrive on the high intensity. And then other parts of our cycle don't. That will actually harm them. Your progesterone will actually decrease, and your cortisol will actually increase from too much exercise during those parts of your cycle. So you really need to know how to listen to your body, pay attention to your body, and you really need to know which activities to do during different parts of your cycle. And so if that's something that you want help with as a fitness coach, as a hormone coach, I love working with women to set up their personal workout routine to match their cycle and get the most out of their routine, while still being able to find relaxing moments, meditative moments, calming moments to help balance out those hormones. So yes, anxiety is a real thing during perimenopause, but there are ways that we can deal with it. There are things you can do to help find that calm again. So if that's something you would like to find, hit me up, comment below, and I'll send you my 3 favorite ways to find a little calm in perimenopause. Till next time.